you ready to take your investment game to the next level? Introducing Digital Investor, your ultimate guide to mastering the digital marketplace. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, Digital Investor brings you cutting-edge game theoretical strategies, expert insights, and real-time tips and tactics to analyze, evaluate, invest, and grow your wealth. Don't miss out on the digital revolution. Visit www.nickblacknext.com and start your journey with Digital Investor today.
Brandon!
Yo, yo! Okay. Fun weekend, huh?
I love it.
Fun weekend.
I actually got my wish. Uh-oh, we get some feedback.
What was some wish?
There's a little echo. I can hear it through us.
What echo?
Okay. Okay. So when ETH last Friday had gotten around 47.20, 47.40, I got left behind on a bunch of calls. And I was like, an ideal price would be like 45.50. That would bring things back down, and maybe I could get up on out or roll out of these. I'd have a place to roll out of these 35s. Anyway, we'll see what happens, but it looks like I got my wish, but we sure got the wish for a weird reason, didn't we? A counterintuitive reason.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Where the price probably of Ethereum, if information theory was correct and all information was priced into markets, which we know for a fact it is not. But if it was, Ethereum would be $5,200 right now. Oh man, weird world. It's a weird and wacky world. Do you want to kind of go into that a little bit and explain how buying a bunch of Ethereum somehow doesn't raise the price of a bunch of Ethereum?
It actually makes zero sense, Nick. So that's why I'm as confused as you are. Yesterday, our favorite whale, who's been dumping Bitcoin quite a bit. So he dumped 35,991 Bitcoin yesterday, which is $4 billion worth, and turned around and bought 886,000 Ethereums, which is $4.07 billion. So he bought more Ethereum than he dumped. He bought that much Ethereum, and then some other wallets that were actually linked to this wallet deposited more Bitcoin on Hyperliquid to sell and started selling that Bitcoin. So all this is kind of happening over on Hyperliquid, which I don't know if that's why it's not affecting the price any which way, but yeah, Ethereum dumped hard at about 1 a.m. So I woke up at like 3 a.m., checked the price, and I'm like, what just happened? It was like 46.60 when I went to bed. And then I wake up, and sure enough, it's back down to 44.96 when I wake up at 3 a.m. I'm like, well, that was fun. So apparently this guy buying Ethereum on Hyperliquid somehow must be some sort of isolated pool that does not affect the price in any way, shape, or form, which is very strange, because even though it's on Hyperliquid, it should have some sort of lagging effect on the price. I'm kind of confused at how this is happening, but it must be an isolated platform, and so it's not affecting the price. But it seems to affect. Actually, if we look at the price of Bitcoin, it didn't even affect the price of Bitcoin to the downside either. So the fact that they're dumping Bitcoin for Ethereum just does not impact either market. Also, the guy that stole $300 million in assets from Coinbase users bought some more Ethereum at 47.56. I think that was almost the high that we hit the last couple days, and then ended up selling all of it at like $4,500, losing $200. Lost like $7 million on that little trade. So very unfortunate trade for this guy. Lost some more monies, unfortunately. after he stole some money. So it's like a free loss. I guess I don't feel that bad for the poor guy. This is, I don't know. You can track these things. But what's really weird is this one. I mean, $4 billion, I don't care if it's in an isolated market, should affect the price of Ethereum some way. Even if we look over and we go check out the, let's go to the strategic ETH reserve. If we go check this out, this is Tom Lee and his cohort buying. So over the past 2 months, they started buying in May, June, July, August, September, 5 months. Over 5 months, they've only purchased $9 billion, and it's moved the price substantially. Since May, I'm going to go look at the chart in a second, but since May, it's moved the price substantially. It's almost 2.5x just because they've been buying this much Ethereum. So when this guy buys $4 billion and it doesn't move the price at all, it's super suspect. So I did want to talk about Hyperliquid, but first things first, before we finish talking about Hyperliquid, I did want to talk about Jupiter a little bit. Only because I'm a little bit bugged that they still have not come out with any type of solution. It almost feels like gaslighting again. Remember when they did that 555 plan and Meow's like $5 price target? Then all of a sudden that was out of the 5.5. There was no more 555 plan the next day. And I'm like, are we getting gaslit? Because he would not explain why he eliminated the $5 price. Anyway, we got gaslit so hard. But now I keep hitting these guys up. They're like, oh, Jupiter's doing really well. It's like, are you telling us Jupiter's doing well and we're going to believe it, or what's happening here? This is the Jupe Sol chart, which is actually a way better indicator than the Jupe USD chart, because this takes into account, had you have bought Sol, which is its native chain, or Jupiter, you need to compare it against the chain that it's on. So like, typically I would like to compare everything against Bitcoin. That's how you compare if you're winning or not, right? You compare it against Bitcoin. I pull up the ETH Bitcoin chart all the time. This is the Jupe Sol chart because that's the chain that it's on. And it is now at a new all-time low today, which is very unnerving and kind of frustrating. So if we take it from not even its all-time high, let's take it kind of from its average a little high here. It is now down in the last year 74%. Now, this doesn't take into account ASR, so really you're probably only down like 40%, but that's still a chunk, because you have that opportunity cost of buying Jupiter and not having bought Solana or whatever else, or even Ethereum probably. Even if you had the ETH Sol chart, it would probably be similar-ish, right? And so I've been telling these guys this, and they just don't want to listen. It's like they want to put their head in the sand, and they don't want to see what's happening. They don't want to like look at reality and say, you know what, our token's struggling because we're not adding any utility to the token. So this has been frustrating because I've been watching this, and I told you guys I'm going to watch this month. But now I'm at a point where I might make some changes, and I'll talk about that behind the wall. What I think I'm going to do based on what I see coming or what I see not coming. And I'm going to talk about kind of their response to what I told them when I shared this chart and some other things. So this is very interesting, this chart being down this far. And obviously it doesn't account for ASR. So most of you guys are probably like break even or whatever on the dollar basis, but against other assets, you're probably down. So against, if you would have bought ETH or if you would have bought Solana or even Bitcoin, you're probably down, which is very frustrating because the protocol is generating a lot of revenue, and that revenue just is not affecting the token price. So even if we get out of this chart, let's go look at the JLP chart. Okay, for example, the JLP chart is kind of what I think Jupiter should have been. You know, it should have been some sort of revenue type sharing. And the JLP chart, they're doing phenomenal. Look at this thing. Straight up over the last year, and this is in dollar terms. I'm not going to pull up the Sol chart or whatever. In dollar terms, they're up 100% in the last, that's since August 2024. Not a bad trade. Not a bad trade. And even if we go to the 5-minute, this is interesting because even if we go to the 5-minute chart of this thing, we look since, let's go yesterday. Okay, let's just do that. Yesterday, it's down about 2.76%, which is also what ETH's about down. You know, actually, if we go to ETH, it actually might be down even more since, yeah, it's down about 5.56%, bro. What the heck? You know what I'm saying? So ETH is actually hurting a little bit more than JLP would be, even if we pull up Solana. Solana got wankered, I think, actually the last couple days because Galaxy Digital stopped buying Solana. Yeah, it's down 7%. So you guys know that they're done buying all their Solana and stuff. Anyway, so very frustrating that Jupiter is generating the amount and getting the amount of partnerships and buzz that they're getting, yet the token is not performing in any way, shape, or form. So that's been very frustrating to watch and frustrating to be a part of. And I feel like if they don't make a change soon, we're gonna make some changes. Anyway, so that's that situation. The other thing that I've noticed is a lot of people asking me about the revenue's going to the team. So there you go. The team's getting it all. Actually, half of it's going back to the Jupiter, the litter box. So I mean, since they started the litter box, how long ago did they start the litter box? Supposedly half of the revenue is going to the litter box and half of it's going to the team. DeFi Llama tells a little bit different story, which I don't know what's accurate. So they said DeFi Llama claims that Jupiter's going to be making about $1.2 billion this year, which would mean since the litter box started, I think the litter box started about 6 months ago. That would be 600 million, so $300 million should have been in the litter box. But right now, only 50 million is in the litter box. So something's disconnecting here somewhere. So I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know if I'd go ahead and loop JLP. You could loop JLP, but I'm not into that because the smallest, I don't know. You can loop JLP and stuff and do quite well, but if you loop it and then you have a 10% move against you, you've lost the whole loop pretty much, which is very unfortunate. So anyway, so that's that. So this is not pulling up for whatever reason. I don't know if litter box, come on litter box. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's because I see why. That's why the litter box ain't pulling up. Booyah. Okay, we'll go here. So by my estimate, if we go to DeFi Llama, or I guess Def Llama, maybe that'll pull it up. DeFi Llama dashboard. We could probably pull up Jupiter. And it says they're gonna make, holy crap. So either this, I actually might call them out on this. So they're saying they made $50 million, $100 million over the last 30 days, right? Which maybe they're only taking the revenue. So that's 24 million. So that'd be 12 million. Oh yeah, I guess that actually adds up more. So the revenue is only 303 million. I wonder how they calculate that revenue though. Like, what are they holding out? Because wouldn't their fees just be their revenue? Anyway, so I guess that might be closer to what should be in the litter box because the litter box does have 50 million. That's about $12 million a month. They've been doing over 4 months. So that's about what's in the litter box here. 100 million Jupiter that they're probably just going to do something stupid with the way I've been seeing things. Anyway, yeah, this is very frustrating. I mean, none of the coins have been performing, but what do you mean look at some other ones? These are the best tokens. This is the best ecosystem in all of Solana. What other coin would you look at that's doing better? I mean, I talked about Tuna last week. It's doing really well, I guess, just because their token has utility. So, I mean, look at some other ones. We talked about other ones last week. We talked about Tuna. We talked about Huma. So, yeah, we look at other ones all the time. But the problem is I'm seeing these altcoins just struggle no matter what. Regardless of anything that's happening within the ecosystem, they just struggle. So it's been very, very frustrating. So Hyperliquid, I don't know if you guys saw this or not as well, but last week they had a vote, okay, to get their own US dollar pegged stablecoin. So they had a bidding war on the company that was going to be able to create this token for Hyperliquid. And they ended up finishing out the win. So they had all the validators come vote on what company was going to be able to create the stablecoin. USDH won that vote. It was a community vote. The project's going to deploy the inaugural Hyperliquid improvement proposal for USDH and the ERC20 token, the token standard for the Ethereum network, in the coming days. So they're going to be laying out this USDH and do a they're going to start with they're going to start with $800 mints. Anyway, so the Poly market had a little bet on this. So there was a lot of people trying to get the stablecoin market, because the stablecoin market for Hyperliquid is actually fairly large because it's doing so well. So a lot of companies came together to do this stablecoin bid. We had Athena coming in there, Paxos, and then you also had Agora, which they raised $50 million just to do this stablecoin, and they ended up losing horribly. So the USDH bidding war was closely followed by the crypto community. Everybody's kind of watching this thing. Some of them said it was rigged, because this is why. The rigged, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if it says it here, but anyway, crypto industry executive voiced mixed reactions to the USDH bidding process and the outcome of the vote, which saw established stablecoin crypto and payment firms lose out to a newcomer, which is very suspect, actually. So this newcomer, this company that's never made a stablecoin, all of a sudden won this vote. Anyway, so they were starting to so this is kind of like very similar to like the Jupiter votes. The team always kind of gets whatever the flip they want, no matter what happens in the vote. Starting to feel like the USDH RFP was a bit of a farce. Hasib Qureshi, managing partner of venture capital firm Dragonfly, said on Tuesday, hearing from multiple bidders that none of the validators are interested in considering anyone besides Native Markets. That's odd. Native Markets is the one that actually won the vote. They're the one that's going to be creating the stablecoin for Hyperliquid, and they're a brand new company. So these guys, being a brand new company, beating out Athena, they beat out Paxos, and they beat out Agora, hands down. They got like 93% of the vote, and I think Paxos got 7% of the vote. Anyway, it wasn't even so that vote, hearing from multiple bidders that none of the validators are interested in considering anyone besides Native Markets. It's not even a serious discussion, as though there was a backroom deal already done, which could have been very true. Mert Mumtaz, the CEO of remote procedure called RPC node provider Helios, said that the bidding war revealed the stablecoins have become commoditized. Probably true. Speculated the US dollar stablecoin will be an attractive way in the future. Exchanges will only display generic USD to front-end users. Oh, that's interesting. So on the front end, you'll probably just see USD, and then on the back end, they'll swap out whatever stablecoin works the best, I guess, for whatever it's doing. This is kind of interesting. These exchanges will do all the work of swapping the differential denominated stablecoins behind the scenes. That's way cool, actually, in a back-end process that the user never sees or interacts with. Okay, I kind of like that, actually. So these guys voted to get the stablecoin done over on Hyperliquid, which is a big deal because Hyperliquid, they do a ton of volume. This one talks a little bit about the odds. This article here, it's kind of cool. Paxos, yeah. So they lost. So I think 95. Wait, it was 7. So Paxos got 7.6% of the vote, and they offered MiCA compliance. And remember, Paxos is the company that was tweeting, "We want to partner with Hyperliquid to get the stablecoin done." And they're the ones that PayPal retweeted. And then PayPal's like, yeah, let's get this done. Let's get on board. So not only did Paxos have themselves, which they have a pretty good track record of getting stuff done, but they had PayPal on board to help back this whole thing. And they only got 7% of the vote. So it was very suspect that a new company, probably some offshoot of Hyperliquid, won the vote to do the decentralized stablecoin. And the reason that stablecoins are such a big deal is because they actually are starting to generate a lot of revenue. I don't know how, but they generate a lot of revenue. So everybody wanted to get this bid in. They wanted to get this vote, and they wanted to become part of the Hyperliquid ecosystem to be able to play the stablecoin game over there because it's generating a lot of volume. So I'm wondering over the next couple of days, since it's going to get launched, I do wonder about the yields for USDH and what that's going to like kind of bring to fruition. It might be something to look at. Maybe I'll dive into and see how safe it is and see if the yields are a little bit better than USDC or something like that. But I'm guessing initially to help get more minted out, I bet they're going to offer some pretty attractive yields. if you want to go shore up some USDH and stake them over there. So that might be kind of cool. I don't know that I would do a new stablecoin right away, that much of it. But anyway, the interesting thing, so Native Markets, even though it is a new startup, it includes former Uniswap Labs president MC Later and blockchain researcher Anish Agnihotroti. Athena Labs founder Guy Young defended the process as embodying Hyperliquid's community-driven approach, where emergent players can win hearts. So I don't know what went on behind the scenes, but it is interesting that the new company beat out both Paxos, Athena, Agora, all the established players in this game to win the stablecoin bid. So that's going to be launching over the next couple days. So we're going to have to watch that because that's going to be interesting. So we'll see how that thing kind of plays out. What does it do? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyway. Do you see that, Nick?
Yeah. I mean, anybody attached to PayPal is not going to win shit. I think PayPal's made so many enemies. I don't think they were really in the running. And also, Paxos had some regulatory problems a few years ago. They've never really become anything. I think their whole claim to fame was like the gold-backed stablecoin or whatever. No one gives a shit about that. That's never meant anything. The whole hard money backing currency thing is stupid anyway, because they start unwinding the percentages. It starts out as 1-to-1, and then they're like, oh, okay, 2-to-1. Okay, 3 currency units to 1 ounce of gold. Okay, 4 currency units. It's the same shit. Might as well have nothing in there, because eventually it's going to be, oh, it's 100 trillion currency units to 1 ounce of gold. So the gold standard broke the minute they went on the gold standard. It was already broken. The second they started, it was broken.
I mean, it's similar to doing if they did a Bitcoin-backed stablecoin, right? It's the exact same theory. It doesn't make sense. So it's like whatever.
Yeah, currencies in society, if you want an actual currency unit that floats around and people can use it, it has to be able to expand and contract with the economy, with the business cycles, and with the people, the population. If it doesn't expand and contract, then you're going to have all these weird problems where it's going to dislocate in its value compared to, so you know, if you had a fixed supply of dollars, you know, oh yeah, okay, your house costs, you know, $1,000, your whole house, because we're using 1900s dollars. Your house costs $1,000, but your car, you know, but you work for $30 a year, you know, and your car is like $8. Like, it doesn't work because the currency unit itself gets too expensive. So you can't peg these things to things, and you can't fractionally peg them because a fractional peg is not a peg. It's just the same thing we have now, which is just print it. Print and pretend. So yeah, no, it's no bueno, my friend, no bueno. Yeah. Oh, none of these coins are performing. Which ones? Which coins are not performing? Bitcoin at 114,000, 115,000. Ethereum at $4,500. What are the non-performing coins?
Well, I think we were talking about Jupiter and how it's failing horribly,
but
right?
I mean,
but that's with most altcoins are kind of trending that way. And we picked Jupiter because it has a great protocol. But I'll talk about that behind the wall more. HMS, really quickly, in case you guys are in HMS, a couple people are starting to see revenue. You can't claim it yet, but it'll show up right here under revenue. Everybody, so it'll be like right here, and you'll be able to see that. And I imagine at the end of the month or something, they'll have a claim button, and you'll be able to click that claim button and claim your revenue. So I've seen some revenue starting to be generated, which is great news.
Yeah, anything at all means they're spinning up.
Yeah. Also, the hypercycle pool, again, I'm getting more tokens from the team, and I'll fill that up. So if you guys got an error, that's just why. So, all right, we can go behind the wall whenever.
Yeah, let's go behind the wall. Let's see, I got some buttons to push here. I got this button. We got this button. Go right here. Go right here.
Going behind the proverbial wall now to continue the broadcast privately for the digital investors and digital private clients. If you'd like to join us, simply go to nickblacknext.com and subscribe to one of our plans and immediately take advantage of our library of tools, tactics, and information. It's all designed to help you learn, grow, and manage your portfolio like a pro. Join us now.